Dan Go has signed over 2,300 high-ticket coaching clients through his sales funnel, despite there being hundreds and thousands of other online fitness coaches out there. But how is he able to do that? How is he able to create so much trust and demand in a very crowded market? Well, in this video, I will break down his exact sales funnel and the core strategies in his system so that you can apply these same things to scale your high-ticket info business to the next level. So before we get into his sales funnel in detail, the most fundamental thing we need to go over is the strategy behind all of this. Because if your core strategy is wrong, it doesn't matter how pretty pages or how good sales tactics you use, because they won't work. So getting the fundamental strategy right is crucial. And in high-ticket info like coaching or consulting, there are a lot of competitors and other people teaching the same thing as you. So the problem is creating enough demand and standing out in the market. To make clients come to you and trust you over any other alternative out there. The constraint to scale for any coaching business is usually demand. When you start out, you have an existing audience or people you know that you can sell to. But to scale your coaching business, you need to consistently create more demand because retention is inherently very low in these type of businesses. And that is exactly why Dan Go has this omnipresence. As you see, he is present on every single social media platform there is, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, because he needs to be out there to create the demand that he needs. And he has succeeded very well with that. On almost every single platform, he has around 400,000 followers. And one other thing we see with this traffic is that he runs ads to his Instagram account. And that's a bit unusual because most people run ads to some sort of offer. And Dan Go tried that. Dan Go tried to run ads straight to his VSL page over there, but we can see that that didn't work because he turned off those ads very quickly in like 2 or 3 days. And that brings us to his overall strategy with his entire system, which is trust and exposure. Everything in the system, the entire strategy, every decision revolves around how much trust can he build, how much exposure can he get, and how warmed up people are. Google recently came up with a study that says on average it takes around 7 hours of exposure to turn someone from a stranger to a client. And we can see this play out very clearly in his system. On these low trust platforms like Facebook and Instagram, where he posts short form content, where people aren't as exposed to Dan Go's brand, they only spend like a few minutes with him, they watch a few 30-second reels. From these platforms, he funnels people to his free newsletter or to lead magnets, which are free offers, and he funnels people to his long-form platforms like YouTube, and this is all designed to warm up people. The newsletter builds trust, gives value, and same with his YouTube. He couldn't pump people straight to his VSL page from his Instagram because people don't trust him enough. They aren't warmed up enough. By promoting to book a call on his Instagram, he would just hurt his reach and it would be perceived as, pushy and salesy. It would have a net negative effect. But then on these higher trust platforms like YouTube, X, and LinkedIn, from there he can funnel people straight to his VSL page because they have been exposed to more of his brand, they are more warmed up and they trust him more. So some people will be ready enough to book a call for his high-ticket coaching program. YouTube, people can very easily spend a few hours watching Dan Go's YouTube content, but still that exposure won't be enough to make everyone trust him enough. So that's why he also funnels people from these higher trust platforms to his newsletter and lead magnets to nurture them even more and then eventually get them to book a call. Because you see, his lead magnet and his newsletter do drive people to his VSL page. And this is also why I believe that his ads that went straight to his VSL page didn't work. His ads were like 30 seconds long, so they didn't get enough exposure, so therefore they weren't ready to book a call for his high-ticket coaching program. So the first takeaway you need to take from Dan Go's strategy is that on all platforms where people don't get enough exposure and trust, from there you want to redirect people to free offers. So, for example, your newsletter, your lead magnet, or to other long-form platforms. And then from platforms where people have got enough exposure, where they trust you, where they like you, from there, you don't want to beat around the bush. You want to send them directly to your VSL page to book a call for your high-ticket coaching program. So from YouTube, X, and LinkedIn, people go straight to his VSL page. From his lead magnet, people go to his VSL page. From his newsletter, people go to his VSL page. This isn't a complicated strategy. You just have to redirect people to the right places based on how warmed up they are. And one thing regarding the lead magnets from his Instagram is that from Instagram, he doesn't redirect people to a lead magnet opt-in page. On Instagram, he tells people to comment a keyword under his post. Then he will send the lead magnet in the DM. This is a standard ManyChat automation. And then after he has sent the lead magnet, he then holds a conversation with the prospect in the DMs. And then from the DMs, he then guides people to the VSL page. But, it's the exact same structure. But instead of an opt-in page, he holds a conversation in a DM. And then from DMs, people go to the VSL. Okay, but then after the newsletter or lead magnet opt-in page, people go to the thank you page. And this is where many people go wrong. First of all, some people don't even have a thank you page after the lead magnet. And the ones that do have a thank you page, they just have some text on there and thank people for opting in. But what is very crucial is that from your thank you page, you need to redirect people to your VSL page. You want to essentially create this loop where people go to your newsletter lead magnet page, then they go to a thank you page, and then from that thank you page they go to a VSL page. So instead of guiding people directly to a VSL page, which requires more trust, they will go through this loop and then come to the VSL page. And then also, with your lead magnet, it is very crucial that you have CTAs within the lead magnet that goes to your VSL page. So many of you guys, you put out a great lead magnet, you make a great PDF, a great guide, but you have no CTA from your lead magnet to your main high-ticket offer. And that's where you ultimately want people to go. So every time you create a free resource, a lead magnet, you always need to blend in, put CTAs within the lead magnet that goes to your high-ticket offer, because otherwise it's just a waste for you. And the most important thing, obviously, is that your lead magnet needs to be very, very great, because people judge your paid stuff, people judge how good your high-ticket coaching program is based on your lead magnet. So if your lead magnet is shit, people will believe that your coaching program is also shit. So in order for people to want to work with you, your lead magnet needs to be very, very great, and the value needs to be exceptional. So you can't just make some basic lead magnet. It actually needs to be exceptional, because otherwise people don't want to work with you. And then if people don't book a call right away from the lead magnet, they will obviously then go to this newsletter, where Dango builds more trust. And then after some time, when they have received multiple emails across many, many weeks, then people will eventually go to his VSL page and book a call. And then from his VSL page, he obviously has his qualification form. But as you all know, not everyone who fills out your form will be qualified. So he does get people who are unqualified, who are not the right fit, who are not ready to work with him right now, who don't have the money. He will get some unqualified people. And what he does with those unqualified people is that he redirects them to his low-ticket offer. And this is a very easy way for Dango to get some extra profits, because obviously he doesn't want to work with the unqualified people. He doesn't have capacity or time for that. But these unqualified people, they still have showed some intent. They did want to work with him. Otherwise, they wouldn't have filled out his qualification form. So by offering them a low-ticket downsell offer, which is, I believe, around $200, this is all free profit that he would have lost otherwise. If he wouldn't have any offer for these unqualified people, which most people don't have, then he would just lose on a lot of free money. This low-ticket offer is a digital product. This is all profit that he would otherwise have lost. So this is also something that you need to do. You need to redirect your unqualified people to a low-ticket offer, to a digital product, because they have the intent. They want to buy. They want to work with you. So by just offering them something, you will get free money that you wouldn't have got otherwise. But then all the qualified people, they then go to his calendar page, where they then book a call, and then from those calls, Dango then gets his coaching clients. So as you see, he doesn't do anything crazy. This isn't some mind-blowing strategy, but he has nailed the basics. He only has a couple of key elements. He has his VSL funnel, and he has his opt-in, his lead magnets and his newsletter. But the key that makes this all work is how he uses them. So now that we know the strategy behind his system, let's look a bit closer to see how he makes each element work so well. And let's start off with his YouTube channel, which is the key driver of everything. And the very important thing that we see with his YouTube channel is that he keeps it very on brand and very on topic. You see, all of these thumbnails look almost exactly the same. I believe brand is probably the most important thing for high-ticket info businesses, coaches and consultants. Because brand is what makes you stand out and what makes people trust you and to come specifically to your program. So that's why he has the same looking thumbnails on every single video, so that people can recognize him much easier. And the second thing is that all his videos are on topic. Every single video he posts is about health, and specifically for entrepreneurs, executives, and professionals. So the key takeaways you need to take from Dango's YouTube channel is that you want to keep all your thumbnails looking pretty much exactly the same. You want to keep your branding the same, and most importantly, you want to keep the topic exactly the same. You don't want to create very different videos. You want to create videos on only what your ideal clients would like to watch. Don't blend in some random video topics here and there. That will hurt your YouTube channel a lot. And then the thing we see in his videos is that he has his most important links here above the fold. And this is very important. Most of you guys bury your most important links deep down in the description that no one can see. You can only see the first 2 rows from the description before you click the see more button right here. So if you have your CTA deep down in the description, no one can see it. Dango has this link to his VSL page here right up in the description. And then all his other links that go, for example, to his newsletter and to his lead magnets, they are here deeper down in the description that you can't see before you click the see more button. But it's still good to have these other CTAs here, as I said before, because there are going to be people who aren't ready to work with him right away. So that's why he has these CTAs, so people can go to his newsletter, to his lead magnet, and there he can nurture them even more and then eventually get them to his VSL page. And then what you see here is that he has interlinked another YouTube video in his description. And this is a very genius strategy for 2 reasons. The first reason goes back to the 7-hour rule. One YouTube video doesn't come up to 7 hours of exposure, so therefore he wants to guide people to go and watch more of his YouTube videos and create this binge watching effect, so they watch 2, 3, 4, 5 videos in a row, and therefore reach much closer to the 7-hour rule than if they would just watch one video. And the second reason is that if people go from your YouTube video to another YouTube video, they will spend obviously longer time on the platform. And YouTube values session watch time a lot. So if people see that your YouTube video keeps people a long time on the platform and makes people go and watch more and more videos, then they will promote your video like hell, because then yours and YouTube's incentives are aligned. YouTube makes money by showing you ads. YouTube makes money by keeping you on the platform for longer. So if your video can keep people on the platform for longer, i.e. watching more videos, then YouTube will want to promote your video as much as possible. But then one small improvement that they could make is that you should have your CTA also as a pinned comment in the comment section. Because on mobile, when you scroll down past the video, you can't see this description at all. But you can always see on mobile the pinned comment. So by having your CTA also in the pinned comment, you will get many more people going to your VSL page because so many more people will actually see your CTA. So that's one small change that you could make. But just to show you how much trust this YouTube channel makes, you can see in the comments here, people are saying, fantastic video, great content, love this content, great advice. People are loving his YouTube content, and by giving away so much free value, he can get people to go directly to his VSL page and book a call for his high-ticket coaching program. And then I want to go to his second most important social platform, which is Instagram. And as I told you, his Instagram doesn't guide people to his VSL, it goes to his newsletter. And if we look at his content on his Instagram, we see that he has two types of posts. He has these text posts, like these right here, that are very similar to like Twitter tweets, X tweets. And then he has these longer form videos that are closer to the style of content he has on his YouTube channel. And it's good on Instagram to have these two types of content because they appeal to different types of people. And the same with his YouTube channel, he keeps it very on brand. All of his posts are very similar. He doesn't change things up. And the thing that makes Dan Go's Instagram stand out from every other fitness coach out there is that even his short form content is very in-depth. He also always has this very in-depth description, and as I told you before, he has on his Instagram this CTA to comment a keyword, and then you will receive a lead magnet in your DMs. For example, on this post, if you comment reverse, then you will get a free guide on reverse dieting protocol to your DMs. And this is the best way to promote lead magnets on Instagram, because then people stay on the platform. They don't have to leave for an opt-in page, so it gets many more people to actually want the lead magnet. And you can do this yourself very easily with ManyChat. But the issue I see so many of you doing is that you are running these lead magnets on every single post. And that just doesn't work. If you're over promoting in every single post, if you always have a CTA to a lead magnet, then people will just get tired and they won't want to watch your content anymore after that. You want to always give more than you ask. So a very good ratio for this is 3:1. So you want to have 3 posts with no CTA, no lead magnet, and then after that you can have 1 post with a lead magnet in it. But don't overpush it. And then if we look at his ads, as I told you, his ads go to his Instagram channel. You see here, his Instagram and send me a message. And these are very simple image ads, as you see. And on every single image, he has a slightly different text that appeals to a different type of person. And then on his X, we see first in his bio, he promotes his coaching program that goes to his VSL page. And then we see his first pinned post promotes his newsletter. And again, this is for people who are more skeptical, who aren't ready to work with him right away. And it's important that it's pinned, because otherwise it will just disappear once you post more posts. Then as you see, all of his posts right here, they are very simple and very conversational. His X feels very authentic. He's being himself and it feels like he's having a conversation with you. He talks about, everyday things. And that's also one reason why he can link straight to his VSL on his X, because authenticity builds a lot of trust. And then one way he can get more demand than just with his normal posts is that he replies to posts that have got a lot of engagement. So you can kind of, hijack demand that is already there. He doesn't always need to create the demand himself. He can use demand that has already been created by other people, but it's important that he replies to people who are in the same niche as him, because otherwise he would just get the wrong audience. And then LinkedIn is very similar to X. He has a link to his newsletter opt-in, and he has a link straight to his VSL page. And his Facebook is very similar to his Instagram, where he drives people straight to his newsletter opt-in page as well. And I have only written here, newsletter opt-in, but this same applies to all the lead magnets. So for example, in his YouTube description, when he links people to his lead magnets, they also go to a very similar opt-in page as his newsletter. And they also go to a thank you page after the opt-in page. But I couldn't put them both here because then it would look very messy. But I will show them both. So this right here is his opt-in page for his newsletter. And as you see, it's very simple. And the reason for that is that he only wants you to do one thing. If you have a lot of text, a lot of buttons, then people will be distracted and not do what you want them to do. He only wants you to opt in for his newsletter. And that's why he only has, a headline, a sub-headline, and then a place itself where you put your email and subscribe to his newsletter. And if we analyze his headline, we see that he uses two of the four vectors in Alex Ramos's value equation. One of the vectors is speed, and he says in under 4 minutes you can build your body and increase performance, so that's very valuable. And one other vector is price, and he says it is free. So that makes his newsletter very valuable because you can build your body and increase performance for free and in under 4 minutes. Because most people's perceptions of a newsletter is that it isn't very valuable at all. And that's for good reason, because most people's newsletters aren't valuable. So then when you subscribe to his newsletter, you come to his thank you page. And this is, again, very simple. He thanks you for subscribing, but then he has this very short sales letter right here. And this is very important to make his thank you page work. Because as I showed you before, his thank you page leads to his VSL page. And to make people want to go to that page, he needs to convince them. So he says, one more thing before you go. Every month, 15,000 plus business owners see this page. Here's what most don't realize. I run a one-on-one coaching program that's transformed the health and lives of 2,300 plus entrepreneurs. So he has probably realized that, because he promotes his newsletter a lot on these short-form platforms. So most people probably don't know that he runs a one-on-one coaching program. So that's why he wants to tell them that, this is a very standard sales letter. Right here, he goes over his most common objections. No 2-hour gym sessions, no meal prep Sundays. Many people don't want to go to the gym for 2 hours. These busy business owners, they don't have time to do meal prep. So he overcomes those objections. And then he talks about the benefits right here. So then he has his CTA right here. And the one very important thing to notice here is that he doesn't say, go to my VSL page or go book a call or go watch this video. He specifically says, go watch this free masterclass. So he frames his VSL video, his VSL page, as a free masterclass video. What you have written on your CTA button matters a lot. And one rule of thumb is that the lower the trust required to push your CTA button, the better. And to go and watch a free masterclass requires much less trust than to go and book a call or just watch a normal video. So this is an example of an opt-in page for his lead magnet. And you see, it's very similar to the opt-in page for his newsletter. He only has a picture, he only has a headline, subheadline, and then the place where you put your email. Nothing else, because he doesn't want to distract you. And then the thank you page is again very similar, nothing extra. He thanks you for signing up, has this short sales letter right here, and then has a CTA to go and watch the free masterclass. And then he has a slightly different opt-in page for his newsletter that is specifically from LinkedIn. Again, it's very similar to the other newsletter opt-in page. He has this headline, subheadline, and the place where you put your email. And the only difference is that on this page, he has social proof from entrepreneurs, business owners that you recognize. For example, Ali Abdaal, Renee Warren, Mark Manson. And I believe the reason for that is that, on LinkedIn, people care a lot about, other people and your connections. That's what LinkedIn is for. So he has probably found out that if he guides people to a slightly different opt-in page for his newsletter, then that would increase his conversions, by a little bit. But, it's still an improvement. And this is just a snippet of the page. He has many, many more testimonials beneath this on the page. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, what about his normal website? Because most online coaches just have a standard website where they funnel all their traffic to. That's the only thing they have. And Dan Go also has a normal website, but he doesn't funnel any of his traffic from any of his social media accounts to his normal website. That's because a website is built for functionality, information, and to look good. But a sales funnel instead is built around one core objective, which is conversions, to get high-ticket clients. So if you're sending all your traffic to a normal website, then you're burning a lot of money. You need to create some sort of sales funnel to be able to compete in today's market. And this is what Dan Go's website looks like. This is a very standard website. There's nothing crazy about this. But as you see, his website is specifically for people who Google his name on the internet. So his website right here, he has a lot of information and, proof. But then his website leads to his funnel. If you click here, apply for one-on-one coaching, it will take you to his VSL page. And then he has also links for his newsletter. So you see, his website is a waypoint into his funnel. Essentially, it's just one of his traffic sources. And then let's take a quick look at his newsletter, which is the biggest contributor to nurturing people and warming people up. And this is the first email that you will receive after you opt in for his newsletter. And it is nothing crazy, he welcomes you to his high-performance journal, has social proof, he tells you how many other people are there, tells you to go and follow him on social platforms to get more exposure. And then after this welcome email, he will send you 2 value-packed emails per week. And they are all new ones. He doesn't repurpose them. You can also get access to all the previous issues of your high-performance journal from this link right here if you want to go and read them. So his newsletter, slowly but surely, builds a lot of trust because people will, read 2 emails per week. So during like a 10 to 20 week period, they will have received a lot of emails, got a lot of value. So then they will eventually trust you enough, like you enough to go to your VSL page and then book a call. So now finally, let's take a look at his VSL page. So first of all, he has all the basic stuff. He has his headline, he has his sub-headline, and he has his video. But there's one thing that most of you miss, and that is actually quite important. So he has instructions. And some of you may think, well, isn't it obvious that I should watch the video? And you will be surprised how much your video playback rate will increase by just giving people instructions. By just telling people what you want them to do, it increases the likelihood that they do what you want by a lot. And then here below, he also tells people that the step 2 is to click the button below and fill out this 2-minute application. So you want to have instructions on your page, even though it seems very obvious. But if you look at this headline, he says, fitness expert to 2,300 plus business owners says, escape frustrating weight, banish your belly for good, and regain the health you deserve, guaranteed, or you don't pay. He has social proof here. He says that he has worked with over 2,300 plus business owners. Then he has all the benefits here. He says, escape frustrating weight, banish your belly for good, and regain the health you deserve. And then he even guarantees this for all the skeptical people and tells them that they won't even have to pay if they don't get the results. And obviously, this headline right here will create, a lot of objections, a lot of, questions and beliefs. So that's why in his sub-headline, he overcomes all those questions. He says, without taking expensive weight loss medication, unsustainable methods, or guru-taught willpower techniques. And those are the objections that he hears most often on sales calls. So you want to overcome them right away. Always in your sub-headline, you want to overcome the objections that your headline creates. When people read escape frustrating weight, they will believe, well, yeah, it's just weight loss medication or unsustainable methods. Well, he overcomes them right away. So then here, he has a very standard VSL where he goes over, your problems, he goes over your dreams, your aspirations, and then he goes over his methodology, his service, his offer. He has a lot of case studies within the video, and then finally he has a CTA to apply below and book a call. And then beneath this video, you see he has a lot of case studies, and this is very important, especially in the fitness industry, but in coaching and consulting overall. People want to know the results you have got for other people before. People want to know your coaching program actually works. So you want to have an overwhelming amount of social proof so that it's undeniable that your coaching actually works. But then the issue I see so many people doing is that they have a lot of unnecessary things on their VSL page. The only thing you should have beside your headline, sub-headline, video, instructions, CTA button is testimonials and case studies. You shouldn't have, anything else below your video. And then once you click his apply button, it opens up this form right here. If I now pretend that I am unqualified, this question says, this is premium coaching for people serious about long-term transformation. Are you ready to move forward? And if I then obviously say that no, I'm just browsing, obviously you wouldn't want to work with me if I'm just browsing. So if I click this and submit, it will say, unfortunately, you don't qualify for our one-on-one coaching, but you can get our lean body system here. So then when I click this button, I go to his low ticket offer that I talked about before. And this page follows the same structure as before. He has headline, sub-headline, and the sub-headline overcomes, objections and, limiting beliefs that his headline creates. Then he has a video again, because videos create a lot of trust. You should always have a video on every single page. You need to have a VSL page, and also on your low ticket offer pages, you need to have a video. Then it shows where it's being featured on, CNN, the Globe and Mail, Insider. These are platforms that you recognize. So I would give him more trust. And then he has this, long sales letter here beneath. You read some case studies, some testimonials. And then once you've read enough of his sales letter and looked at enough, case studies, then it brings you to the bottom of the page where it tells you what you will get inside the digital product. And then once you click the button right here, then you can go and buy Lean Body 90 system for $397. And this is the low ticket downsell for all the unqualified people. So you see, this $397 is just pure profit that he would have otherwise lost. Unqualified people who fill out his form, they still have intent and want to work with him. So he probably gets a lot of people to buy this thing, but then let's go over his form in more detail. This first question is very important that we already covered. Now you need to have a question that asks people, are they ready to move forward? Because you don't want to get on calls or work with people who aren't ready to work with you. That's a huge waste of time. As you all know, you are very busy. You have clients, you have a lot of content you need to record. You don't have time to spend with people on sales calls that are just browsing. So obviously you want to ask people if they are ready, and only let people who say that they are ready to work with you right now to book a call. And after that question, he has his normal, qualification questions. So he wants to know your gender, obviously then your age. And after his, normal qualification questions, to get more information about you, then he has again this question right here. He says, how quickly do you want to see results? And again, this is a readiness question. He wants to know how ready you are to start. So he only lets people who say that they want results ASAP book a call. If you say within 1 to 3 months or just researching for now, then he won't let you book a call. And then he asks, do you make over 150K annually? He says 150K is the minimum for consideration into our program. If you don't make at least 150K, respectfully, we don't want to waste your time. It's very likely that our program will be out of your price range. So again, he doesn't want to waste his time. His coach program is very high ticket, it's very expensive. So he already knows if you make less than 150K per month, then he won't have enough money to pay for his program. So instead of wasting the prospect's time and his own time, he wants to say this before people book a call so that neither waste their time. And then finally, he asks for your contact information, and after that, you can book a call and go to his calendar page. And this is one thing, you want to save the contact information to the last part of the form. Because people are more hesitant to give out their contact information than to give out information about themselves. People are much more happy to say their gender or other information like that instead of giving away their phone number, for example. So you want to always start with those questions and then have the contact information last up in the form, because people are less likely to stop something that they have already started. But you don't want to collect the contact information on the calendar page, because as you all know, some people will fill out this form, go to this calendar page, but won't book a call. So if you don't have their contact information by then you have no way of getting them back. You have no way of contacting them because you don't have their contact information. But then after that form, people go to his booking page, and after that he has his sales call, and from those sales calls he then gets all of his coaching clients. So this system right here is exactly how Dango can get so many coaching clients despite there being an endless amount of fitness coaches out there. So if you have any more questions about anything that I covered in this video, I will leave my Instagram in the description below, so feel free to shoot me a DM and I will be more than happy to help you out. See you in the next one.